This was a Me and the Dream, of course, asked a great question. Who's better, Davante Adams or D-Hop? But I didn't even want to talk about that. This narrative is ridiculous. And I've actually heard this before, like people saying Davante Adams without Rodgers will look average.
So before you go, we have a funny high school anecdote. So our senior year of high school, one of the things I used to like, Blake and I have a few sports jokes that we constantly used to repeat back and forth to each other. But one of the things I used to repeatedly tell him is, obviously I was half joking, half serious, but I used to always say it because it pissed him off. I used to always tell him our senior year of high school, Davante Adams is just an Aaron Rodgers product. He's just another Randall Cobb or another I don't know who else.
James Jones.
James Jones. He's another that type. Yeah, and I used to say that just to tick him off. But yeah, go ahead, Blake. My bad to interrupt you. I just wanted to share that funny.
No, you're good. And then there's other people who have said, like, Adams wouldn't even be close to top 5 without Rodgers, and like his stats wouldn't be as good. Like that I can entirely agree with. But to say he wouldn't be good at all or that he would be average is just ludicrous. So obviously Davante entered the league 2014. He didn't really have his breakout year until 2016. He had like 1,000-yard season, 997, so not quite there. But so if you guys remember 2017, Packers started off 4-1. They were looking good, and then Aaron Rodgers had a collarbone issue, and the GOAT, my favorite quarterback, Brett Hundley, came in, and he started playing for the Packers. And this was 2017, and his final season stats, 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And that's
except against the Steelers, when Chris Collinsworth said that Aaron Rodgers couldn't have played better than this.
He did have 300 yards against the Steelers, which was honestly ridiculous. But Davante Adams ended with 880 yards, and he actually played incredibly well with Brett Hundley. So whenever people say like he'd be bad without Rodgers, like I would point to that season and say, okay, he did pretty good with Brett Hundley, and that was 4 years ago when he wasn't even close to what he is now. So yeah, that's where I'd say, okay, I just entirely disagree with you on the point, but I guess whatever. I still think Davante Adams would be one of the top 10 receivers, top 5 maybe. I mean, unless his quarterback was actually like Seneca Wallace, and he just couldn't complete a pass at all.
That's a name from the
like Nate Sudfeld or something like that. Like
Nathan Peterman.
Quarterback's not completely like worthless and is can get the ball places. Like Adams will be good. Adams will still be good.
Yeah, I agree with you. In a joking community, I'd probably say that to you, yeah, he's just a product of Rodgers, just to tick you off. But the reality of the situation is that he is, in my opinion, definitely a top 10 receiver in the NFL. And that's not because of Aaron Rodgers, it's because of Davante Adams. He's as good as anybody at the line of scrimmage. He's as crafty a route runner as everybody. He's got really good hands. He's really good at making contested catches back shoulder. I think him after the catch is really underrated because he's really, really savvy at making people miss and finding open spaces. The only thing Davante Adams truly lacks is top-end speed to just run by people. Mm-hmm. And that's where Aaron Rodgers' incredible ability to throw back shoulder helps. But Aaron Rodgers isn't the one getting off the line of scrimmage so smooth. Aaron Rodgers isn't the one who's so good at finding space within zone coverage and all of that. Aaron Rodgers isn't the one with the incredible hands. Aaron Rodgers isn't the one that, every other play you can throw him a slant and he can take it 15, 20 yards. He might not take it 80 like Tyreek Hill, but he can get you 15, 20 yards.
Break a tackle or whatever.
Right. Davante Adams is an incredible football player. He's a top 10 receiver in the NFL. I would say the only guys I personally prefer over him are like Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones. Those three for sure. Michael Thomas I would probably put in there. DK Metcalf for me is right around there, but I think it's debatable. But the point is that he's right there with anybody. Like I named 4 receivers who are 4 athletic freaks, and then everybody else, it's like, well, Davante Adams might be as good as him. So the point is that he's not made by Aaron Rodgers. they're a great combo. They have a great wavelength, but Davante Adams is a great individual football player, and then Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest individual football players we've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and it actually will be very interesting to see how like the Packers, maybe running backs, O-line, receivers look without Rodgers, and who's actually legit, and maybe there's other guys who just they were entirely made by just Aaron Rodgers being as good as he was, and you don't want to say that about a player, but if their production goes from 100 to 0 like that. And a guy who I think is to a lesser extent would maybe be Jordy Nelson. If you remember in 2017, the first 5 games of the season, Jordy Nelson had like over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, and he was killing it. Rodgers goes down, and Jordy's nowhere to be found. And it's not that he's a bad receiver; it's just that he benefited a lot from his chemistry with Rodgers,
right?
Than other people would. So, just want to throw that out there. But yeah, I definitely do love all the Packers receivers, and Davante, I'd say he's probably been the best Packers receiver of the 2010s, to be honest with you.
I thought Jordy was a little better than him, but I thought Jordy was a top 6-7 receiver in his prime. It's not like like Aaron Rodgers. Like obviously, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. Nobody's debating that. But it's not like these guys are out here catching wide open, or Rodgers, they're not getting any separation, and Rodgers just throwing them open. These guys also make a lot of incredible back shoulder catches. Rodgers, because he trusts these guys, he trusts the chemistry and connection he has, he throws, I guess, riskier passes per se, but they aren't risky because of his accuracy and these guys' ability to adjust to the ball in the air. So they're both incredible players. I don't understand why the quarterback has to make the receiver has to make the quarterback. Like Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin, or Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett and Doug Baldwin, nobody's ever thinking of as a top 10 receiver. But their connection with Russell Wilson is special, and they help the Seahawks win a lot of games. Jordy Nelson, the same thing. How many times did we see Aaron Rodgers roll left and throw like a 60-yard laser, like on a flat line, a throw only he can make, and Jordy Nelson toe tap it on the sideline? And it's like, what defensive player is going to be able to do that? And it's like, well, yeah, Aaron Rodgers threw a laser, but how many receivers can toe tap making a hands catch with the ball traveling that fast and thrown that hard? So it's both of them. They're both incredible players individually. In a joking community, I would agree with you, Don Burr, but Adams is definitely a top 10 receiver in the NFL, and he would be without Aaron Rodgers too.
I'd probably throw him in their top 5, but, I guess it's to each their own. And you're forgetting, we didn't even mention Jared Cook. Awesome on the sideline too. Killed the Cowboys with the sideline toe tap. He needs to be mentioned as a Packer great. But yeah, good question to me. And although we didn't even have it highlighted,